The TV's fine. Don't mess with it.
Yes.
The TV's fine, Fingers. Leave it alone, Fingers.
Yeah.
Totally buy into it.
And so, and get this. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because it is really 2024 in a nutshell in America. It's only 50 inches, Tony. The TV's only 50 inches, and it's above a mantle, a fireplace. It should be at least 65.
I just want to say, for the record, the struggle is real, and I feel your pain. Go get a new TV. Here are the deals. Here are some of the Super Bowl deals going on new TVs. You can get from LG. Oh, this one's only 48 inch, so we're going to skip it. But it's a 48-inch OLED, which is right now a top-of-the-line type of screen in terms of pixels and how the light comes. $599.
That's crazy.
That is at Best Buy. That's at Best Buy right now for the Super Bowl. For you, you might want to look at the 70-inch LG 4K, $498 at Walmart.
It's probably just an LED. It's not even a QLED. It's just the LED. So
look at you.
Yeah, you mentioned the OLED, but the problem is when you start getting into a 70-inch OLED, that's probably $1,500 to $2,000.
A 70-inch OLED will probably be even more.
Oh yeah.
Here is, if you want the QLED, which is a step down, but still, we're into the phase where you really, who do you think you are? That you're going to notice the difference. When they're side by side, you do. When they're in your living room, you don't.
Do I really need to have Andy Reid's frozen icicle-y mustache look its best on a 70-inch TV? I mean, really.
This is from the people at Samsung. The Samsung 75-inch, right? I think it was a Samsung 75-inch QLED, $2,200.
Yeah.
Now, is that too much? Normally, $3,300.
I see
30% off.
Yeah, it's a great deal. I've seen QLED TVs for less, but at that size. But you and I have this discussion all the time. Trying to stay away from a Chinese TV. It's really, really hard.
Well, wait a second. Samsung, LG, Sony, your Japanese or your South Korea, you're fine in that regard.
But it's gonna cost you.
The 65-inch, which I think would be big enough, Samsung S90C OLED, $1,700.
I can
Fingers
see that.
Malloy. If the Detroit Lions, and you're not going to go, which kills me, pains me. You're going to pay for your kid's college? You're some fan you are. You should be watching it on a 65-inch OLED screen.
I probably will, just at a bar or a restaurant. That's probably what's going to happen.
You make me feel like I should buy this for you for your birthday. And I just want to say for the record, I'm totally not doing that.
Thank you.
I am not doing that. The Basil Hayden 100% malted rye. Don't put it on. Don't add water. Don't put it on a cube. You do have to try it.
It's a lounge pour.
It's this weird, subdued thing with a beautiful nose and an outrageous finish. But this lovely cigar. It's from lovelycigars.com. The 162 Churchill, 6.5 by 48, $11, all day, absolutely. It has got a lot of pepper, but a little bit of this sweetness. For me, cocoa undertone. For Fingers, a little bit of leather. It works. It works. There's something to do here, for sure. Find it all at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Where does everyone come together to cheer as one, to build traditions, to show pride? High school sports. I'm Robert Falkins.
And I'm Janie Ulmer. We're both assistant commissioners of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and we love how high school sports play a key role in the life of every member of a school community.
That's because high school sports are a special place where everyone shows up to have the team's back.
It's amazing to see the whole community, students and parents, coaches and teachers, come together at the school to cheer on their student athletes.
Celebrating high school sports unites us all, and that experience is essential to the pride and passion of an entire community.
Be it champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is unity. This is pride. This is your IHSAA.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Dozens are dead in the wake of this week's winter storms. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The storms raking much of the U.S. are now blamed for the deaths of at least 55 people. Over 100 million Americans are under some type of wind chill alert stretching from Montana to Georgia. As the New Hampshire primary approaches, the candidates are making a final push for votes, trying to get a leg up in the race. Fox's Alexis McAdams is in Manchester, New Hampshire.
It is cold out here. I can barely feel my face, but that's not deterring these people who want to see the former president speak about one thing in particular, the border, and not just the southern border. How many people are crossing there on a daily basis in Eagle Pass, McAllen, Texas, but right here at the northern border. And those polling numbers show voters trust Trump's border policies. Trump surrogate representative Elise Stefanik has been out on the campaign trail talking to voters who say it is not just the southern border they're worried about. And Stefanik's not the only one on the ground for Trump. Tim Scott, who dropped out of the presidential race, is also backing him. But with all that support, Trump says it doesn't mean it's time to coast.
Former President Trump continues to lead among the GOP candidates there. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis is headed to South Carolina just days before the New Hampshire primary, as Fox's Rich Edson reports from Myrtle Beach.
Pretty unusual place to be campaigning the weekend before the New Hampshire primaries. We're 5 weeks before the South Carolina primary. He focused on his time as governor, promising to declare an emergency at the border and dramatically downsize the federal government. A campaign aide says this swing through the state's a way to pressure former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley to win her home state, and if not, to get out of the race. To this trip, a Haley spokesperson says South Carolina's a great state. We hope they enjoy their vacation time here. DeSantis says his campaign is doing what it needs to accumulate delegates and that it has a good foothold and organization in South Carolina.
The South Carolina primary is a month away. America is listening to Fox News.
After a big win in Iowa, former President Trump and his rivals move on to the New Hampshire primary. And Fox News Radio has full coverage Tuesday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern with a 1-hour preview show hosted by Brett Baer, Martha McCallum, and Dana Perino. Then Jared Halpern and Jessica Rosenthal bring you the results as they happen, along with Josh Krausar and a team of Fox News reporters and experts. Download the Fox News app and click Listen Tuesday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's Democracy 24 on Fox News Radio.
Hello, America. Dennis Miller here. On Fox Nation, we're reliving the nostalgic years of when infomercials ruled the airwaves in a new series, The Infomercials That Sold Us. From the ShamWow guy to Suzanne Summers, we're reliving the glory days with a hilarious look at what we bought and why. So dig that Bowflex out of your basement and dust off your George Foreman grill when you watch The Infomercials That Sold Us. Streaming now on Fox Nation. Sign up at foxnation.com today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
This weekend, you may not see much snow around central Indiana. I'm Wes Woodward, and here's what's trending this hour. Not much snow, but meteorologists warn that cold temperatures could be the main concern. Today's high may only reach the mid-teens, and then
we're going to see even colder temperatures tonight with lows well below zero.
Meteorologist Andrew White with the National Weather Service Indianapolis recommends staying inside and warm whenever possible, keeping your pets indoors, and monitoring the forecast. A 25-foot buffer law says that you cannot intentionally get within 25 feet of police officers while they are on an active scene. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita tells WIBC's Hammer and Nigel that this helps protect police while holding them accountable.
We have incidents where people are coming up to police officers on a live scene and flashing flashlights in their face.
Okay.
Coming up behind them with their own gun.
Yeah. Indiana would be an affordable state for a new pro sports team to move in.
When you look at Indiana, you look at the cost factor, which would be a decrease in cost of pretty much everything.
That's State Representative Earl Harris Jr. He believes Northwest Indiana is an ideal spot for any pro sports teams that are looking to move. That's why he introduced a bill that would create a 19-person sports commission that would look into the logistics of bringing a pro sports team to Indiana. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Sunday itself looks to be mostly sunny outside. High temperature up to about 25 degrees and will only drop to 17 as you move into Monday morning. So it looks like Sunday morning is the last of the cold ones out there for a while. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Runar Sudis for 93 WIBC.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Seminars 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport or 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Registration is 30 minutes before the seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome to the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. We're thrilled to have you with us. This is a fantastic time to be a gun owner and or a Second Amendment advocate in Indiana, because we are right at the beginning of the legislative session here in the Indiana General Assembly. And listen, let me tell you, I see so much negativity out there as to what our lawmakers have done or what they haven't done on Second Amendment rights and on any other issue, frankly. But there's so much whining and there's so much complaining, even right here on this radio station. You know, Republicans are all this, that, or the other thing, and nothing ever gets accomplished in the General Assembly, and they're all, you know, birds of the same feather when it comes to Democrats or Republicans. And let me tell you, when it comes to Second Amendment rights, people telling you that, people whining at you about that are absolutely, completely, 100% wrong. They're not only wrong, they're intentionally misinformed because they're not paying attention to what actually is going on in the Indiana General Assembly. When it comes to Second Amendment rights, when you look at the laws that we've successfully had passed, and listen, I formed the 2A Project, a 501c4 nonprofit organization that is allowed to participate in the political process, endorse candidates, to lobby for bills, and we've been actively doing that. We've been doing that strong for a number of years now, and I'm there. I'm in the courthouse. I in the State House. I was down there twice this week for multiple hours, testifying on multiple bills, and we'll talk about those bills. But I've been in the middle of the process. Been in the middle of the legislative process right here in Indiana for a damn long time, well before we established the 2A Project. And if you're a gun owner in Indiana and you don't appreciate what the Indiana General Assembly has done for your gun rights, then you're living under a rock. Now, it doesn't mean we can't always do more, and we absolutely can do more. And we always have an agenda every single year of what we want to accomplish, not only to defeat those bills that would minimize even destroy your Second Amendment rights, but also to advance those bills that would protect and enhance your Second Amendment rights. We're on it, man. I'm down there. I'm in the General Assembly. I'm working. And so many other people are. It's not just me. And so many other people in the General Assembly. And again, these people get so much grief. I hear it all the time. I hear it right here on WIBC. People whining about the Republican supermajority in the General Assembly. And listen, there are things to whine about. Taxes, okay. Not doing enough during COVID to countermand the Holcomb mandates, okay. But on Second Amendment issues, let me just tell you, you're listening to the Gun Guy Show, so we're going to talk about Second Amendment issues. On Second Amendment issues, our General Assembly has been stellar. It's been strong. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that whatsoever. And when I hear people or see people, or read people whining out there on social media or otherwise about what we haven't gotten done, you're not paying enough attention to what we have gotten done. It doesn't mean we can't do more. Doesn't mean we don't have an agenda. Doesn't mean we don't have a wish list. Doesn't mean we're not working our asses off right here in the current General Assembly, which I'll talk a lot more about. But let's just take a minute, shall we, and reflect on some of the things that we've accomplished here in Indiana. For instance, 2011, we passed the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act, authored by Senator Jim Toms from down in the Evansville-Poseyville area. And Jim is one of the strongest Second Amendment advocates we have in the General Assembly. And the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act means that local governments may not regulate firearms. So, for instance, Joe Hogsett, even the Republican candidate for mayor here in Marion County, Jefferson Shreve, both wanted to pass ordinances here in Marion County. In fact, Joe Hogsett's administration through the city county council here in Marion County did pass an ordinance that says you can't conceal carry anywhere in Marion County. It's going to repeal constitutional carry, where you have to have a license to carry a firearm anywhere in Marion County. They're going to ban so-called assault weapons. It's a ridiculous political term, but okay. Semi-automatic rifles with detachable magazines, and make it illegal to buy or purchase a firearm unless you're 21, even if it's just a long gun that federal law says you can buy at 18. But they can't put that ordinance into effect here in Marion County because of the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act. What does that say? It says local governments, outside of certain exceptions, simply can't regulate firearms. The city of Indianapolis, Joe Hogsett, the liberal mayor right here in Marion County, cannot pass gun legislation that can affect your ability to carry a firearm in Marion County. He just simply can't do it. And the reason he can't do it is because of the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act, which the Indiana General Assembly passed in 2011. And Senator Jim Toms was the champion of that legislation. And I was involved on the periphery. I can take no credit whatsoever for the passing of that. But that's huge, because you go to so many other states and you can be legal the way you're carrying your firearm, what kind of firearm you carry, whatever it might be. You can be legal in one town or city or county, and suddenly you pass into another county or city or town, and suddenly what you're doing is illegal just by going into a new town within the same state. Indiana doesn't allow that. That's what the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act doesn't allow. That's huge. You have no idea what an advantage that is in Indiana compared to so many other states. Illinois being a primary example, our neighbor to the immediate west. But keep going from there. Look at all the other bills we've passed. Church carry. Do you know it's illegal to carry a gun in a church in a lot of states? In Indiana, it was illegal to carry a gun on school property. and it still is. But school property was defined as any property on the same grounds or in a building co-owned with a school. So many different churches, for instance, a Catholic church. How many Catholic churches are on the same grounds with a parochial school? I don't know, all of them. I'm not Catholic. I'm the son of a Methodist minister. But all of them, I would guess. Churches, Catholic churches, parochial school on the same grounds. That makes the church school property. And it's illegal to carry a gun in school property. And legislators, Ben Smaltz, Jim Lucas, Jerry Tour, so many of these absolute rock stars for your Second Amendment rights looked at that and said, hold on, churches are targets. We've seen mass shootings in church after church after church all across this country. And we've seen some where heroes, like in White Settlement, Texas, Jack Wilson, stopped a mass shooting in a church because he was an armed security guard in that church. And our legislators looked at that and said, hold on, we ought to give our worshipers, our congregants, it doesn't matter, temple, synagogue, church, mosque, whatever it might be, in our houses of worship, somebody comes in to attack you. And let me tell you, there's a reason there are mass shootings in churches, because there are people that hate you and want to kill you just because of where you worship or how you worship or whom you worship. Whether they're crazy or they're on some kind of religious ideology, whatever it might be, there are people that want to kill you just because of the way you worship. That's not me. That's being paranoid or weird. That's just the nature of the universe. And we've seen it all too often. And so our legislators here in Indiana said, hold on, you ought to be able to defend yourself, your family, and your fellow worshipers when you're practicing your faith in your house of worship. Doesn't matter what it is, church, synagogue, mosque, temple, whatever it might be. And so our legislators right here in Indiana, and this was under the original leadership of Ben Smaltz, who wrote the bill, and wrote a bill, and we got it passed in 2019. This says, no, if you're in a house of worship, participating in a religious ceremony or worship service, notwithstanding the fact it may be on school property because there's a school located somewhere on the same grounds, you can carry a firearm. And we got that passed. Same year, 2019, we passed the self-defense immunity bill that I wrote, and I'm really, really proud of this bill. It says if you use lawful and justified force in self-defense, you can't be sued for that. You have complete immunity. And I've since handled a lawsuit where my client used force in absolutely justified self-defense. Somebody trying to break in their home, broke a window, was climbing through the window. My client defended himself, his wife, and his home with deadly force and still got sued. And under the statute that we passed in 2019, right here in Indiana, not only did we get that case dismissed, we got an award of attorney's fees. The plaintiff who filed that lawsuit under the law we passed right here in Indiana, not only did they get their case dismissed, they had to pay my client back all their attorney's fees. You don't think that's a disincentive for that kind of BS lawsuit to be filed in the future? Of course it is. But that's the kind of positive legislation we have here in Indiana. So if you're out there and you're inclined to whine about our lawmakers, you're inclined to whine, and again, I hear so much of this, including right here on this radio station, specifically from 9 to noon. I notice quite a bit. You're not paying attention if you care about Second Amendment rights, because a lot of good things have happened for us right here in Indiana, and I've been in the middle of it, but I've also been a fan of so much of it because we have legislators, again, Jim Lucas, Ben Smaltz, Jerry Tour, Peggy Mayfield. Aaron Freeman in the Senate is an absolute hero of the Second Amendment. Has done so much, and that doesn't even include getting constitutional carry passed, which we did in 2022. where you can now carry a handgun without having to go beg permission from the state government to exercise a constitutional right you already had. How awesome is that? We did that right here in Indiana. So sometimes when we talk about what we want to accomplish, and that's what I'm going to talk about the rest of the show, but sometimes when we talk about what we want to accomplish, what our goals are, what our to-do list is, let's don't ever forget to sit back, contemplate a little bit, and give thanks for the awesome things that we've already accomplished right here in Indiana. I'm proud of them. I've been in the middle of them, and I'm also really proud of our legislators that are out there fighting for us, some of whom I've mentioned, and there are many more beyond that. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Now that we're in a new year, the Indiana Hoosiers are in a new Big Ten season. Coach Mike Woodson and the Hoosiers are preparing for big games.
Indiana's gonna win it.
Big hopes. Big Ten. IU heads next door to take on Illinois Saturday. John Herrick has the pregame at 2. Don Fisher with the tip at 3. On your home for IU basketball, 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for Pinnacle Firearms. I'll tell you what, these guys are my friends. They're at 598 West Carmel Drive in Carmel, just a bit north of Carmel Drive at the corner of Clark Street. These people are one of the best places you can possibly shop for firearms, ammunition, or accessories, and they have a full-time gunsmith right there on premises. This is so hard to find, and they can do expert refinishing. I've had an 870 Police Magnum SBS refinished there with what they call their urban tactical refinish, and it is badass. Let me tell you, I'm proud of it. You can do all of that. Again, shop, have gunsmithing done, or have firearms refinished, all at Pinnacle Firearms. I don't know of another shop that does all those things right there on premises. Check them out at 598 West Carmel Drive. These are my friends. I go way back with these folks, and I love all of them, and I really encourage you to do business there. 598 West Carmel Drive, Pinnacle Firearms in Carmel, or check them out at pinnacle-firearms.com.
A house isn't a home without a little wear and tear, spilled milk, or muddy paws. But don't just clean it, quick shine it. Hey, Pat Sullivan here for Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners with some Floor Care 101 tips. First, no matter the surface type, be sure to remove dust and debris. Avoid heavy chemicals or all-purpose liquids as they can damage the sealant layer or leave an oily residue. Now, to best clean and protect your floors at a modest price, don't just clean it, quick shine it. Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners use non-toxic ingredients, making it better for kids, pets, and the environment. With an EPA Safe Choice certification, and Quick Shine has a full line of products to treat any surface, including their floor cleaner, floor finisher, and hardwood floor luster. I use it on my own floors. Made right here in central Indiana for over 60 years by Holloway House, a family-owned company. Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners is available at retailers everywhere.
Hey, Fed rate cut plans have reduced mortgage rates more than a full point. So if you have been waiting to sell, now is the time. You can max your home sale price with the only agent and team I recommend. That's Mark Dietel. Maybe you're a growing family and you need more space, kind of like Andy and Kim in Fortville. They have an 8-month-old. Time to add more space. Heard about Mark Dietel on the radio. Hired him right away. The house is under contract in 48 hours, and Mark found him a bigger place, too.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert we trust and recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, no required repairs. Contact Mark Dietel today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith.
And I'm Pastor Nathan Peternell.
And we serve at Life Church, and we got a podcast that we wanted to tell you about called Jesus, Sex, and Politics.
Yeah, you know all those things that the culture doesn't want to talk about that will scare you? Yeah, that's our bread and butter. We love it.
We're going to equip you on how to defend conservative constitutional values based in God's Word in this podcast. So tune in to Jesus, Sex, and Politics.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
The new year is here. Time for change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Muncie. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Muncie. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
For your free system replacement analysis, give Family a call today at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
There are screening tests to catch cancer early. Visit cancer.org/getscreen.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. This is The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And by the way, we always want to take calls from our listeners. You got questions, you got comments, you got input. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. That's 317-239-9393. What would you like to see accomplished in the Indiana General Assembly that we haven't accomplished already? And actually, I'm really curious about this. I'm fascinated about this, and a lot of times people talk about they want to see so-called Second Amendment sanctuaries. I get that. We'll talk about that. They want to see other issues raised in the General Assembly. Let's talk about it, man. I'll tell you what the feasibility is, what the likelihood is. I'll tell you whether there's anything pending that might actually accomplish what you want to see accomplished. But if you want to see a new law in Indiana that protects or enhances your rights in Indiana, give us a call, 317-239-9393. If you got a bitch, you got a complaint. I think I can say bitch. Yeah, the producer's looking at me saying, yeah, you can say that. If you got a complaint, give us a call, man. What do you want to see happen? Because people love to whine about our legislators. I get it. I whine about our legislators too, particularly the ones in Washington. But you got something you want to see happen, give us a call, man. Well, because you know what? I'm talking to these guys. In fact, I have a meeting after the show tonight with several different legislators. We're talking about what we want to see accomplished this year. And we're going to get into it, including some pending bills. And I'd love to talk to you about it. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. What do you want to see accomplished here in the Indiana General Assembly? This is exactly the time to air it, man, because I'll go talk to them, and we'll see if we can make it happen. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. So I was over in the General Assembly this week, actually testifying in favor of a couple of different bills. And both of these bills are really important because it's interesting. The gun control people, the people that would deprive you of your Second Amendment rights, people that actually are upset, that are resentful of the fact that you even have Second Amendment rights. And let me tell you, there are a bunch of those people. And by the way, it usually starts with people saying, oh, well, what, you're not, I've read the Second Amendment, and it starts off with, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. So unless you're in a militia, you don't even have a Second Amendment rights. And, okay, the Supreme Court in Heller versus D.C. in 2008 completely rejected that argument and say, no, you don't have to be in an organized military unit like a militia, the National Guard, to have Second Amendment rights. It's something that's a common right enjoyed by all the people. And people say, oh, well, at the time the Second Amendment was passed, it was referring to muskets. So it protects your ability to have a musket, nothing else. No, the Second Amendment, in fact, protects those commonly used firearms for lawful purposes today, and the Supreme Court ruled that same way, both in the Heller case in 2008 and afterward. And no, a firearm didn't have to be in existence at the time of the Second Amendment ratification, which is 1791, in order to be protected by the Second Amendment. So that's rejected. So these people come out and they fight us on all these different ridiculous grounds. I had a representative in a committee hearing. I was in the Financial Institutions Committee testifying for a bill that I'll talk about here in just a minute. And I had a state representative, it's an elected official for the state of Indiana, said, I personally think you're misguided on the Second Amendment. I think it only protects you if you're in a militia like the National Guard. And I just look at this person and I go, man, bro, I didn't say this. I was thinking this. I'm not going to call a representative. I'm going to call him Mr. Representative. I'm going to be completely respectful in that situation. But in my head, I was going, yo, bro, you actually haven't read the Supreme Court decision that deals with this issue specifically? You want to debate me on this issue and you have no clue what the law of the land is? You're wasting my time. I mean, that's what I thought, but of course I'm going to be completely respectful with what I actually said. So I said, Mr. Representative, respectfully, let me tell you what the Supreme Court has said on this issue. So you and I don't have to debate this anymore. That debate has been concluded. It's been determined. It's been resolved. We don't have to debate this. And that's such a shame because we have to keep regurgitating these same defenses to the same BS arguments. By the way, my great challenge, I'm now approaching my 10th year, by the way, of having the Gun Guy Show. And my great challenge that I'm so far accomplished, and every week I come in here and do radio, I keep thinking it, I may not get past this week, is to not cuss on the radio. It is so hard. And I got great producers. I got great producers sitting here right now, and it is so hard not to use profanity because there are so many of these issues where I just really want to. But so far, I do a pretty good job, wouldn't you say, producer?
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
And by the way, it's his job to hit what we call the dump button. You know what the dump button is? There's a bit of a delay when we broadcast radio, and the dump button goes, okay, we're going to erase like the last 15 seconds of everything that's going out across the airwaves. And, and so far, hey, I can say in 10 years of radio, I haven't had the dump button hit on me yet.
Yeah, no. There are surprisingly like words that you wouldn't think are allowed on air, but are allowed on air.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, and so like I'm like sometimes Googling like what cuss words can you say like live on air just to double check, and I'm like, because I don't want to like hit it and like have it go out for 8 seconds like unnecessarily.
See, that's right. Like, for instance, I can say, I was just talking about people bitch about this, that, or the other thing. I can say that, right? Absolutely, 100%. You had to think about that one, didn't you?
Yeah, like you would think like you can't say that. And, like, that's like one that I had to Google. I'm like, can you say that word on the air?
You know why I've learned?
I don't even want to say it.
I've learned most of these things by listening to Tony Katz, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you listen to Tony Katz, you learn a lot. Because Tony Katz will also say, I'm going to make you nervous again. Tony Katz will say, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
I can say kiss my ass.
Yeah.
I can absolutely say that.
Yeah, and there's like some, I don't know, phrases that you can't say that aren't like that bad, like are less bad than like ass or saying like.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, don't give me examples to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
That'll be a problem.
Yeah.
But
I'm like so paranoid, to be honest.
But, yeah, no, that is an interesting thing. Again, and it's so funny that I'm coming up on my 10th anniversary of having this show, because I got to tell you, when they invited me to come in and do the Gun Guy Show originally, literally 2014, I never thought for a million years. I never thought in a million years that I'd ever get to 10 years. Frankly, I didn't think a radio station, even in Indiana, a big red state, pro 2A state, I didn't think that any audience for the long term would support a dedicated pro 2A radio show. I just didn't think that would happen. I would just think, I thought the politics and the cancellation crowd would kick in, and I'd be forced off the air. And God bless WIBC, man. And originally the Emmis Corporation, now it's Radio 1. God bless them, man. I mean, think about this. They are willing to allow a completely unfettered, unapologetic Pro 2A radio program to endure right here on WIBC, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the organization that I work for that. But hey, we're going to get back into what legislation is pending, what we're trying to accomplish this year in the Indiana General Assembly, and I won't say anything that either gets me kicked off the radio or makes my producer hit the dumb button. I will not, I promise.
Thank you.
There's nothing that makes a producer more nervous than when you start flirting around, the world of profanity. So I will not do that. Right now, we're taking a break. We got some people on the phone lines, by the way. We'll go to the phone lines when we come back. You got a question? You got to accomplish? You want to see something accomplished in the General Assembly? You want a new law that protects your gun rights? Give us a call, man. This is the right place to call, because I'm involved through the 2A project. I'm in the General Assembly a lot. I was down there probably 10 hours this week, and I'll be down there again next week. Give us a call. What do you want to see accomplished in the Indiana General Assembly? 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Another news update is minutes away.
Really want to have two 80-year-olds running for president?
Get the facts.
President Biden not on the ballot in New Hampshire. It's going to be tough to reinvent Grandpa.
Not just the talking points.
The Delphi murders evidence leaked last fall.
Leaked it to YouTubers and podcasters online.
When events happen.
The bill, which continues federal government spending at current levels, passed.
We'll happen to be there.
We continue to spend money we don't have, undermining our own national security and our own well-being.
On the level. On the go. 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Your next new vehicle is coming from Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, where you get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford Pickup and Delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. It doesn't get much more convenient than that. And you could say hello to more rebates. With federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. Plus, with updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Who doesn't want to save more? Andy Moore Ford is your place for a new or used Ford vehicle. Talk to them today about their service, talk about their selection, and if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. It's a new year and you've waited long enough for a new vehicle. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street, 2713 East Main Street, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R, andymoreford.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. After 2 weeks of harsh winter weather, we're learning that 55 people have lost their lives. Fox's Jill Nato.
The state that's seen the most deaths is Tennessee, where traffic accidents and hypothermia have claimed at least 17 lives.
And there is more blistering cold in the forecast. Parts of the nation could see a wind chill of minus 30. With 3 days until the New Hampshire Republican primary, Donald Trump still sitting pretty versus Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley.
The latest tracking poll in New Hampshire shows Trump at 53%, Haley at 36%, and Ron DeSantis at 7%.
Fox's Alexis McAdams in Manchester. Haley has the endorsement of New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. America is listening to Fox News.
Let Bill Estes put you behind the wheel of the powerhouse brands that define American toughness. Ford, Chevy, Ram, and GMC. Right now, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on Ford trucks. Unleash the power of the road with Bill Estes Trucks. Find the location near you and see their inventory at BillEstesTrucks.com.
Prices include Costco membership rebate of $1,000. All rebates and incentives included in final discount. Stock numbers BCI 230444, BCJ 240066, BFB 230713. TRX Raptor and ZR2 models excluded from all offers. See dealer for details. Offer absolutely ends January 31st, 2024.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and as a mom myself, I know it's really important to keep the kiddos healthy. Air quality, humidity, those are super big issues on my concern list. If you share any of these concerns, give Family a call, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Christmas is come and gone. You got some great gifts, and now you're realizing you've got new firearms, and you may not need all those old firearms. Now is the time to talk to Premier Arms in Brownsburg. Check out the buy room and find out how much you can get for your used firearms. They're the best at giving top dollar for your used firearms. Talk to Premier Arms today. 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. 317-858-3030 and online at premierarms.com.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Life is busy enough without plumbing problems. That's why you need an expert to fix it right the first time. Plumbing may not be pretty, but we're pretty darn good at it. And we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. That's the LD Smith Plumbing Promise. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
The show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back to The Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. I'll tell you what, I put a call out for people to call into the show and say what they wanted to see in terms of gun rights in Indiana. And we got a ton of no, all I said was shh. That's it. That's all I said. Shh. That's it. See, I'm making the producers nervous again. They're looking at me going, no, don't you do it, man. No, I would not. I would never say the bad word. I would not do it. I've been 10 years. I don't want to get fired yet. But we have a whole bunch, let me put it that way, a whole bunch of callers, and we're going to get to all of you, every single one of you. Be patient. We'll go to the phone lines. Let's do it right now, and Anthony is called in. What do you got for us, Anthony?
Yeah, my name is Anthony Wayne, and I listened to the testimony, and that was very interesting. This relates to HB 1084, which has to do with the banks and stuff.
Yeah, so you heard me testify in favor of that.
Oh, yeah. And this was a press release from the House Judiciary Committee in Congress. Jim Jordan had to do with the banks trolling through all their records to find all sorts of transactions with institutions and everything else. It was actually shocking. There is a slide that's in that press release that was used by Key Bank to find anybody who had bought anything from any kind of manufacturer of guns or accessories for guns. They were using the MCCs and everything else on it, and they're reporting this back to the FBI for use to identify terrorists and extremists. So I'm kind of wondering, it's like, gosh, can somebody go to Key Bank and force them to divulge what they reported about somebody? But this is what really scary and drives home the need for HB 1084.
No, you're right. Exactly right, Anthony. And for those folks listening who don't know exactly what we're talking about here, the House Bill 1084, and I went down and testified in favor of this week in the Financial Institutions Committee at the Indiana General Assembly. And what this relates to is the fact that the International Organization for Standardization came out with a new credit card code that if you use your credit card or debit card in a gun store, then that there's a specific code associated with that transaction that identifies that as a transaction that you did in a gun store. And this was done at the insistence of a bunch of gun control organizations like Everytown for Gun Safety, that includes Moms Demand Action, the Brady Campaign, and otherwise, because they said, well, we need to track transactions at gun stores to potentially identify like the next mass shooter or terroristic activity, which makes no sense whatsoever, because all it shows is that you spent X amount of money. It'll say your name, so it'll say Guy Relford. Let's say I go into a gun store and I buy a $4,000 gun safe because I want to store my guns responsibly and safely in my home, which I do, and I have several gun safes already. But let's say I spend $4,000 on a gun safe in a gun store. It'll say Guy Relford spent $4,000 in a gun store. That could mean I bought 10 $400 AR-15s because I'm a terrorist and I want to go shoot up America, which is completely ridiculous because that's not where these people get their guns, is gun stores. But okay, theoretically. Or I bought a $4,000 gun safe that this credit card code doesn't tell you which that is. Doesn't tell you that I bought a gun safe or a bunch of guns or a bunch of ammunition or anything else. So it's useless to do what they say they want it to do. I'll tell you what this is about. And I tell you what, we're coming up on the 3/4 hour. I'll tell you exactly what this is about when we come back. In the meantime, I want to get back to the phone lines. But House Bill 1084 that I testified for this week, that I fully expect to get out of the House. We'll see what it does in the Senate. We're going to need your help. We're going to need you to call your senator, the committee chairpersons over there in the Senate, and get it through the Senate. But I'll tell you what it's about and what it would fix and what the real issue is, and actually the problem that we're trying to address when we come back. But I also want to get to the phone lines and continue to go through your ideas for what laws you want to see. But House Bill 1084 is a big deal. That's why I went down there on behalf of the 2A Project and gun owners in Indiana and testified in favor of it. And I'll talk a lot more about that here in the show. I do want to get through the callers as well. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I alphabetized my soundboard. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. F?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I have to go to S for Sopranos. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think you got it.
It's so clean now. It's fantastic. Yeah, we have clearly run out of things to talk about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
It's a great world, everything's so.
This show is stupid.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for Tactical Firearms Training. And our most popular class is Essentials of Indiana Gun Law. This is 4.5 to 5 hours of the most important legal information that you need as an Indiana gun owner. Our next one is Saturday, February 24th at Indy Arms. That's going to be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. We'd love to see you there. Again, if you carry a firearm in Indiana, this is exactly the information you need to know on when you can pull that firearm, when you can use that firearm, as well as how to avoid commonly prosecuted crimes like criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon, pointing a firearm, intimidation with a deadly weapon. If you don't understand what all those are and exactly how to avoid them, this is exactly the right class for you. We're also going to teach that out of Parabellum Firearms in Avon. Saturday, March 23rd. I love teaching out in Avon. We always have a great group out there. You can also sign up for that. It's Saturday, March 23rd, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Parabellum Firearms and Indoor Range. Go to tactical-firearms.com. Just click on upcoming courses at tactical-firearms.com.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
The program begins in summer of 2024. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Seminars January 25th at the Holiday Inn, Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Or January 27th, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Noblesville. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIPC.
And welcome back. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back to discussing House Bill 1084 because this is a big deal. These credit card codes that the gun control people want the banks to use and the credit card companies to use, it is 100%. Look, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. If you listen to the Gun Guy show, you know this. I tend to roll my eyes at most conspiracy theories. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a dedicated plan to try to attack the gun industry. Is to attack gun stores, those people that sell guns and ammunition to you and to me. It's a dedicated, absolutely focused attempt to attack that industry, and I'll tell you why when we have an opportunity here, and I'll do it this show. In the meantime, though, I want to get to the phone lines. We've had several people call in and be on hold. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie, welcome to the Gun Guy Show, man.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good to hear from you. What you got?
So I'm a felon, and I'm trying to get my gun rights back. And I didn't know like how expungement works or what all that entails, what the requirements are to meet that, and just quite how to go about it.
Well, you called the right guy, man. I handle expungements all the time, Charlie, and I'm glad you called. Most crimes, I don't know about most, but a lot of crimes and felonies can be expunged. And I don't want you to say anything on the radio you don't want to talk about. But like what do you have on your record now, if you don't mind saying?
So I caught a lot of drug felonies when I was younger. And then as I got into all that, I still owned firearms that I wasn't supposed to, and ended up getting caught with some.
Okay.
And I have possession by a felon, but I didn't know, because I know it's big on like violent felonies is what they pertain to usually, but I didn't know if that possession by a felon was a disqualifier.
Well, not necessarily at all. And possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon, as well as the predicate convictions that made you a serious violent felon to begin with, like drug convictions and whatnot, those generally can be expunged. Typically, you have to have 8 years with a clean criminal history. You have to have paid all your fines, fees, and court costs. You can't have any active criminal investigations against you, and you can't have any other restraining orders or other orders of protection against you that restricts your ability to possess a firearm. If you meet all those conditions, you can have convictions expunged. And I do expungements all the time, and I love doing them. Because you know what? The expungement statute is based on the idea that people have earned the right to recover their Second Amendment rights. And there are other civil rights to hold public office, to serve on a jury, and those kind of civil rights that you regain through expungements, even though you've got a past felony conviction. So give me a call, man, or look me up at relfordlaw.com, relfordlaw.com. I do expungements all the time, and I'm really happy to help people. It's fun. I mean, I've seen people cry in the courtroom. I've seen people grab me and, crying on my shoulder in the courtroom because after a long, long time where they haven't had their Second Amendment rights, they were able to recover those rights. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go back to the phone lines. When we come back from this break at the top of the hour, we got Jennifer, Mike, Kelly, David, Paul, a lot of good people on the lines. We'll come back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
After such a warm December, the bitter cold is now here. Hi, this is Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner, and I want to urge you to head to your nearest Jiffy Lube so our technicians can make sure that your car or truck is fully prepared to handle these ice-cold temperatures. At Jiffy Lube, you never need an appointment. Just drive in and we'll change your oil, check all your fluid levels, inspect your lights, wiper blades, and belts, properly inflate your tires, and make sure that your car is in the best possible shape to keep you safe this winter. Jiffy Lube is even replacing brake parts and tires now, making Jiffy Lube Indiana's one-stop shop for all your vehicle's maintenance needs. Our computer system has the owner's manual information for every vehicle, and we have scanners that can help you understand and often quickly fix any dashboard warning lights you may see. So drop by your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today, and in just a few minutes you'll get the peace of mind that comes with knowing that your car or truck is ready to handle another Indiana winter.
So the time is now to maximize your home sale price with the agent and the team that I recommend. That would be one Mr. Mark Dietl. Here's what Dan and Jen in Avon had to say. We were ready to downsize and move to a smaller dream home. There were many challenges to navigate, but luckily we had the Mark Dietl team on our side. They got our difficult to sell house sold at the price we needed. They are truly the best.
Mark Dietl is the only real estate expert we trust and recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, no required repairs. Contact Mark Dietl today, 317-755-4500. 4232 or go to markdeedle.com. Mark D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
If you're over 50, Absolute Wealth Management LLC is offering a special deal to kickstart your financial journey in 2024. You can have your 2023 tax return prepared and filed, including Schedules A, B, and D, for just $79.95. Call us now at 317-288-0634. That's 317-288-0634, or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. Investment advisory services offered through Gradient Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Gradient Advisors LLC and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Nature is a killer. I'm Roger Stern, Fox News. As many as 55 people believed to have died due to the storms that have hit much of the U.S. over the past 2 weeks in the Great Lakes region. They're dealing with lake-effect snow. Fox Weather's Nick Koser is in Cleveland.
The big event was yesterday. On the ground, a widespread 5 to 10 inches of snow fell all across northeastern Ohio, mostly yesterday, with the big winner being Shaker Heights. They recorded 1 foot of snowfall. The temperatures and the wind, it is bitter cold. Temps in the teens. The wind is gusting at 30 miles per hour. When we got here, Lake Erie, only a little chunk near the lake shore was frozen over. Now the ice extends all the way out to the break wall. Now about 20% of the lake is frozen over, and blowing snow really going to add to the snow drifts on the roads later on.
Much of the U.S. expected to warm up this coming week. As the New Hampshire primary approaches, the candidates are making a final push for votes. Fox's Alexis Adams in Manchester with details.
The latest tracking poll in New Hampshire shows Trump at 53%, Haley at 36%, and Ron DeSantis sitting at 7%. This is a poll of Republican primary voters in this state that's taken on a daily basis. Trump saying his competitors, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, have lost momentum and continue to fall. So the question is, what do New Hampshire voters care about, right? Well, they tell me it's the border. They want a president who can handle the immigration issue. And right now, polling shows they trust Trump's border policies. They're worried about the northern border, so that's why these candidates continue to hammer that home. That includes former Governor Nikki Haley, who's been really upping her rhetoric and attacks against the former president.
The former president leading among Republican candidates. America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
5 inches of rain by tomorrow.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
There will not be criminal.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
DNA technology has helped police solve a Scott County cold case. I'm Wes Woodward, and here's what's trending this hour. It was an attempted murder cold case from Scott County that occurred in 1995. John Herrick reports.
The DNA was first entered into a national database in August of 2000, but over the last 23 years, as DNA has advanced, it's helped investigators solve the case. Police say with this technology, they learned that a man in his 30s tried to kill someone else at a home in Scott County in 95, later moved out of state and died in 2003. Since the man has died and won't be charged, his name will not be released. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Starting Monday, you'll be able to dine at restaurants participating in the 2024 Devour Indy Winterfest. Restaurants like Tupelo Honey's Southern Kitchen and Bar in Indianapolis.
The menu is online if you go to TupeloHoneyCafe.com. And then as far as our hours go, Saturday and Sunday we open at 9, and during the week we open at 11 and we close at 8 p.m.
That's Jeremy, the general manager of Tupelo Honey. Winterfest will run through February 4th. He thinks Northwest Indiana is ready for a professional sports team. Harrison Silcox reports.
Democrat Representative Earl Harris Jr. says the next step in Northwest Indiana's development would be to add a professional sports team.
When you look at Indiana, you look at the cost factor, which would be a decrease in cost of pretty much everything.
Harrison Silcox, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Sunday itself looks to be mostly sunny outside. High temperature up to about 25 degrees and will only drop to 17 as you move into Monday morning. So it looks like Sunday morning is the last of the cold ones out there for a while. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, January 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
It's the best Zero Res deal of the year with 23% off all their cleaning services. Get the whole house Zero Resified. Call 388-5141 or book online at zeroresindy.com.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for hour number 2 of the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I am going to get back and talk about House Bill 1084 that I testified for in the Financial Institutions Committee here this last week in the Indiana General Assembly, and was clearly looked upon favorably by that committee, and I think will pass out of that committee. There's an amendment. Apparently, it's going to be proposed on it, and they wanted to consider that amendment before they actually ruled or voted on passing it out of committee. But I'll talk more about that. But in the meantime, we've had a whole bunch of people call in and be on hold, and I want to be respectful of our callers since I asked for calls. Let's go back to the phone lines, and Jennifer has called in. Jennifer, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely.
And I would first like to say congratulations on your 10-year anniversary.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be in July is the actual anniversary, but we're coming up on it. I'm kind of excited about it because I frankly never thought it was going to happen.
I agree. And then I would also like to say if I ever needed a lawyer or some gun classes, that I would definitely pick you.
See, I'm your boy, or I'm your guy, I guess I should say. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the reason that I am calling is because we would like to see some marijuana reform in terms of at least making it legal for medical use, if not at least decriminalizing it across the entire state and not just in the Marion County area.
Yeah, and Jennifer, I couldn't agree with you more on that. And let me tell you exactly where we are on that relative to gun rights. And listen, I'm not a marijuana user myself. I learned back in college that I don't do well with marijuana. I mean, marijuana makes me want to curl up in a fetal position and go to sleep and not talk to anybody. It makes me paranoid. It makes me self-conscious. I guess that's redundant, but it's just that it's not on my personal agenda. But I've talked to so many people, like veterans, for instance, that with PTSD, where they get a lot of relief from marijuana. I've talked to people with chronic pain issues who say they get a lot of relief from marijuana. And listen, it's a natural plant, natural herb that grows out of the ground. And the idea that we treat this on the basis of federal law, it's a Schedule I controlled substance. That means it's right in there with the most addictive, most destructive, most harmful drugs that we have, and with the least medicinal purposes. Marijuana is classified the same as methamphetamines or heroin or cocaine. Is that ridiculous? Yes, that's ridiculous. And again, it's not on my personal agenda. I'm not a user. I'm not a fan. But I've talked to so many people who get so much relief that it makes no sense to me that we don't legalize it. But here's the deal with gun rights. If Indiana would pass a law tomorrow that says, yep, we're legalizing marijuana either for medicinal uses or for recreational uses or for both, that doesn't change the fact that it's still an illegal drug at the federal level. And when you go in to buy a gun today, you fill out a form called the ATF 4473 form, and you fill it out and your name, personal information, and then you answer a number of questions. And about the fourth question down, it says, are you a user of or addicted to any illegal drugs? And then it says, including marijuana, even if it's legal in the state in which you live. And if you say yes, because I have a medicinal marijuana card, or because Indiana hypothetically has legalized marijuana, you're not getting your gun. And you've just flagged the fact you are a prohibited possessor. You may not legally possess a firearm under federal law because you're a user of an illegal drug under what's called the Controlled Substances Act. I can say that. Controlled Substances Act of 1970. And marijuana is still legal at the federal level. So the key to this, Jennifer, is first to get Congress, and there are bills introduced in Congress pretty much every year anymore, to get marijuana off the controlled substances list at the federal level. And then if we also legalize it in Indiana, then boom, not only will it not affect your gun rights, but it'll be legal otherwise for use. But that's an important point, and people need to understand, because even if Indiana legalizes it, as long as it's illegal at the federal level, it'll still jack with your gun rights and potentially land you in jail, as ridiculous as that is. And that's why we need to fix that at the federal level first. Let's go to the phone lines again, and Mike has called in. Mike, what you got for us, man?
Hey, I just wanted to touch base on what it would take, or if you've heard of any news of anyone introducing legislation that would simplify and better protect people with concealed carry permits to travel throughout the country into different states without having the hassle of trying to do a lot of research on reciprocity and this, that, and the other. What can be done to eliminate all that hassle? If the state you live in deems you worthy to be carrying a firearm and you are permitted, why shouldn't that permit be honored throughout the country you live in? Because you don't give up your rights when you go to another state. So I just would like to create that conversation.
Mike, it's such a great question, and it's such I think, an important point, and I could not possibly agree with you more, brother. And thanks so much for calling the Gun Guy Show. Here's how that works today. There are 32 other states that recognize the Indiana license to carry handgun. There are 26 states across the country that have constitutional carry, meaning you don't have to have a license to carry in that state. And all and by the way, we're one of those, so 25 other states, and in all 25 of those other states, they recognize your right to carry a gun without a license. But going back to really what your question is why isn't my handgun license recognized in all 50 states? It should be. It's not. It's going to require one of two things. Some people say they want to pass national reciprocity, and this is a bill that actually passed the House during the first 2 years of the Trump administration, about 2016, 2017, and it never got a vote in the Senate. And a lot of us got really angry about that because Republicans controlled the House and the Senate there for a couple of years after Trump got elected. And Mitch McConnell just screwed the pooch on that. But in the meantime, what it would say is, yes, if you have a license in one state, it has to be recognized in every other state. I don't necessarily like the legislative fix to this issue, Mike, because what Congress gives, Congress can take away. What I would like to see is a Supreme Court of the United States opinion that says, just like it did, get this, in the same-sex marriage decision. This is Obergefell, if you want to look this up. And in that decision, and however you feel about same-sex marriage, I mean, it doesn't matter to me how you feel about it. You can be a big fan, you can oppose it, I don't care. But what it said is that if your marriage license, first of all, your marriage license in the state in which you live, you have to be granted one if you want to marry the person you want to marry, even if they're of the same sex. Then it went on to say that because of equal protection laws, specifically the 14th Amendment, because of your right to equal protection and the full faith and credit clause in the 14th Amendment, that a marriage license issued by one state has to be recognized and honored in every other state. And at one point, I took the language out of that Supreme Court decision, Obergefell, that dealt with same-sex marriage. And again, not an issue. It's not on my agenda. It's not a priority for me. Hey, you want to marry whoever you want to marry, God bless you. I've got no issue whatsoever with that. God bless you. I support you completely. But it's not just on an agenda item for me. But I took the language out of that decision that talked about, if you have a license to marry someone in a particular state, here's all the reasons why that has to be recognized and honored in every other state. And I took the same language and I took marriage license, I took marriage out, and I put license to carry in the same place. And the logic and interpretation of the law and the 14th Amendment applied perfectly. And that's what I want to see, because I don't want Congress to do it, because you know what, Congress can change its mind. Democrats can come in, change that law. I want the Supreme Court of the United States to say, if I have a license to carry, just like my driver's license has to be recognized in every other state, my marriage license has to be recognized in every other state, my license to carry ought to be recognized in every other state. And the Supreme Court of the United States needs to say that. And you know what? Hey, maybe if somebody gets arrested for carrying a handgun in New York, even though they have an Indiana license, let's go file that lawsuit. Let's go litigate that issue. I'm exactly the right lawyer to take that to the Supreme Court of the United States and get the right decision out of the Supreme Court. But that's where I am on that, brother, that I'm right there with you, and you raise a very important point. We're a little past the quarter hour. It's time to take a break. We'll come back. We got Kelly, David, Paul, and Joe have all called in. We're going right back to the phone lines when we come back. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
We feel...
Feel it as soon as you step out the door.
What you feel.
Bundle up. Feels like winter.
It's gonna be more like summertime.
All the feels.
It feels a little like winter.
Feels more like summer.
Of fall.
It's kind of the clash of two seasons.
Weather. When you need it.
The ebbs and flows this time of the year is so evident.
On your official fall weather station. 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for Pinnacle Firearms in Carmel. I'll tell you what, these are my buddies in Carmel. They've got a great gun shop with a huge selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories. They also have a full-time gunsmith right there on the premises, which is so hard to find. They also do expert refinishing. They've refinished firearms for me, and they do a fabulous job. I cannot recommend these folks highly enough. They're my friends, and I'm a customer, and a dedicated customer at that. Pinnacle Firearms. They're located at 598 West Carmel Drive, just a bit north of Carmel Drive on Clark Street, right there in Carmel, not far from my office at all. You can also check them out at pinnacle-firearms.com. Again, check them out. Firearms, accessories, ammunition, gunsmithing, refinishing. You can get all that done right there at Pinnacle Firearms. Check out my buddies at 598 West Carmel Drive or pinnacle-firearms.com.
Your next new vehicle is coming from Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, where you get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford Pickup and Delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. It doesn't get much more convenient than that. And you could say hello to more rebates. With federal and state incentives, you could save more on your EV purchase. Plus, with updated federal regulations, you can claim up to $7,500 instantly on site. Who doesn't want to save more? Andy Moore Ford is your place for a new or used Ford vehicle. Talk to them today about their service, talk about their selection, and if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. It's a new year and you've waited long enough for a new vehicle. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street, 2713 East Main Street, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R, andymoreford.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. John, what are you doing? Get in my car. Why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They are draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, you're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WINNING for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code WINNING. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WINNING for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WINNING.
Has the holiday season left you overwhelmed, stressed out, and overweight? Do you feel frustrated when you think about what you need to do to be healthy and feel better? You deserve a simple approach to a stronger, healthier, and more enjoyable life. Exercise Inc. has been helping people in Central Indiana reach their health and fitness goals for 20 years. The approach is simple. Strength train with a certified coach once a week for 20 minutes. Adopt the 9 simple habits you need to follow to change your health and lose weight. Then get out there and enjoy life, because you'll be stronger and have more energy, and you're going to feel better, and you'll lose weight, and you'll probably even look better too. And you may even be able to get off of some of those prescription medications. Exercise Inc., Avon, Brownsburg, Greenwood, Zionsville, and now in Fishers. The studios are private, no mirrors, no music, and no spandex. Just you and a professional coach working to reach your goals for the new year. Go to exerciseinc.com today to sign up for a free consultation.
For a job done right the first time and every time, remember Chapman Heating. For all your plumbing, air conditioning, heating, and now drain needs, remember the man for all seasons, chapmanheating.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Give family a call for your family maintenance plan, 317-577-8077. Maintenance is crucial.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
He's a Second Amendment attorney. He's an NRA certified firearms instructor. He's the gun guy. Guy Relford on 93 WIPC.
And welcome back to the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. Let's go right back to the phone lines. I love the number of callers, man. We got a ton of callers, and I'm excited about that. Let's go. We got Kelly. Wait a minute. Is this my buddy, Kelly?
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly and Avon, man. You are my pal, and also an official with the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. And you and I spent a little time down at the State House this week, didn't we?
We sure did, both Wednesday and Thursday.
Yep.
And I tell you that the Pro 2A team that was there, I was proud to be part of it.
You know what? I was kicking myself. We walked out of there Thursday. We didn't get a picture, so we should have gotten a picture with you, Kelly from the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. John Weber from NRA, who was there, who's our regional rep from NRA. We had Chris Lee, who's our rep from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, who's a rock star and has pushed a lot of legislation through right here in Indiana, and myself from the 2A Project. We're kind of the Fab Four, man, when it comes to advocacy for gun rights. I say that patting ourselves on the back, and feel free to roll your eyes at that. But we needed a picture because we were all down there, man. We were slugging away for 2A rights in Indiana. But in the meantime, Kelly, don't let me preempt what you want to talk about.
Well, I tell you what, whoever Gregory was his first name was there for 1084 as a private citizen.
Oh, yeah.
We need to find him. He was outstanding.
Yeah, wasn't he good?
We need to get him on the team.
Yeah, we do.
He was really good.
And let's revisit what 1084 is about because, and I'm going to talk more about this here, hopefully, after we get through all our callers. 1084 deals with these credit card codes. And a bunch of gun control proponents have gone out and said, we need to code credit or debit card transactions at gun stores because we need to track these things. And a bunch of us have major concerns over this because I think it's a way to identify credit card transactions for banks and credit card companies to actually deny those transactions because they're trying to cut off, chokehold the gun industry. Secondly, a lot of people think it's an indirect way to build a database of gun owners or guns in America based on those transactions. And for either concern, it's a danger, it's a problem. And there's a bill, 1084 in the House, that would actually prevent the use of these codes in Indiana to track purchases at gun stores. And there's a big civil penalty associated if banks or credit card processors try to do that. Huge fan. It's a good bill offered by Representative Jake Teshka, who's a solid Pro 2A legislator. And you and I, Kelly, were both there to testify in favor of that this week.
Yeah, we sure were. I will point out I caught about 3 more minutes of questions than you did on that bill.
Yeah.
And John Weber, who was our closer that day from NRA, he had a total of 1 question, and I caught questions for 11 minutes. I have to ask, what is up with that? I think we wore him down, though.
Well, I think we did. And I got to tell you, when I go in and testify, and we also both testified in favor of 1235, different bill, and I'll talk about that more time allowing that was on Wednesday. I got to tell you, I'm sure you noticed this, Kelly. My favorite part are the questions and or challenges from Democrats on that committee. There were a couple of new legislators that I hadn't seen or met before, a couple of new Democrats in the Judiciary Committee in the House that wanted to take me on in that committee hearing, and they didn't fare very well. I hope that's not my arrogance speaking, but I think that's objective that they probably regretted having taken me on.
Well, one thing with that hearing, and I don't know if Representative Torr caught it afterwards, but I said, hey, thank you for calling me after Guy, because I hate following you in these things. But one thing, and it was one of the Democrats, and I did notice 2 of them didn't show up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
They left the 2 new ones there, and one, it was both Representative Jeter and yourself got a question, and the way they phrased it, I'm sitting there and saying, please hang that curveball to me because I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, we'll talk more about 1235 because that's another important bill that needs to be passed, and I want people wondering what that's about. But listen, and Kelly, let's talk for a minute with you on the line. If people are listening and we're talking about what's going on in the Indiana General Assembly, people are calling in with opinions on what the law of Indiana should be. My buddy Kelly in Avon, who's on the line right now, is a fabulous example of a private citizen who simply cares about these issues, who simply cares about Second Amendment rights. And listen, substitute Second Amendment rights for any issue that you care about. It could be tax related, whatever it might be. I mean, you take your hot button, and Kelly, the guy on the line right now, which I've known for years and years and years and years, and I consider a very, very good friend, Kelly cares about Second Amendment issues. So he simply, as a private citizen, just another guy off the street, decided to show up when we have committee hearings, when we have legislative events down to State House, who decided to show up and make his voice heard. These are public hearings. You don't have to have a radio show. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to have any other stat. You don't have to be a professional lobbyist. All you have to do is show up, sign your name on the sheet, or register online, and you can testify. They will call your name, and you can step up, and you can participate in the legislative process. This is democracy. You know, we have this beautiful constitutional republic here in the United States. It's the most beautiful, elegant, perfect form of government that's ever been. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm saying it's the most perfect. And it is as close as you can get. And it depends on citizen involvement. And Kelly, listen, I know you didn't call for me to blow a bunch of wind up your skirt, but here's the basic fact. You are the perfect example of somebody who just cared, who just wanted to make his voice heard. You show up, and you're and you always tell me you're not a statistician. You're a statistician with people skills. And an analyst, that's right. Which is, you say, is a statistician with people skills, right? I've heard you say that many times.
You've never met a statistician with people skills, that's for sure.
There you go. But you just showed up, and you showed up time after time after time, and you present great information, great statistical analysis, you know, and you're logical, you're forthright. But the most important thing is you're there. You show up. You participate in the process. And you, my friend, have had a profound impact on Indiana law in this state because you're there and you show up. And anybody who wants to be like Kelly and just show up, and the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association and its president, Charlie Hiltunen, who I consider to be a very good friend as well. I shoot sporting clays with him. I kick his ass in sporting clays, by the way. But he's a big fan of yours as well. And he recognized what you were doing, showing up, and he actually asked you then to become an officer in the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. And you're down there speaking now on their behalf, even though you were doing it for years and years on your own. So people listening, you can do this. You can be Kelly. You can show up, make your voice heard, and you can have a profound impact on what the law is in this state, because that's what the system depends on, is citizen involvement. That's what makes us a democracy. That's what makes this constitutional republic so beautiful and elegant and productive, is the involvement of citizens. So I'm sorry I got on my soapbox, but Kelly, you calling in, I want to take the opportunity because, brother, you're the perfect example. You're Exhibit A of everything I'm talking about.
Well, thank you very much, Guy. I do appreciate that, and I will tell you, I did ask Charlie. I said, if you want to, represent the ISRPA, I'll sign in for myself. And he said, no, go ahead. and I was expecting more rocks, not quite as many as I caught this week, but yeah, it's a big difference between signing in to represent yourself and then putting something like Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association is why you're there. So it's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get some rocks coming my way.
Well, you know what? But look, Nate, I know you're now an officer. What's your title at?
I am the co-director of government affairs. I can't at this point say who the other co-director is. I can tell you he's a heavy hitter.
All right. Well,
and
listen,
that'll be announced later.
Kelly, you're a badass, and you know what? You show up, and that's what I love about this process, man. It's about showing up. And by the way, you don't ever forget, Kelly is also a proud member of the 2A Project that I'm the president and founder of. And Kelly showed up with his 2A Project shirts on long before he had his current role as co-director of legislative affairs at Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. Right now, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're taking a break. We're going to go back to the phone lines. We got David. We got Joe. We're not forgetting about you, man. We're coming back to the phone lines. We'll come back about what's going on in the legislature and about these bills that we're talking about. I'm going to leave you in suspense on those. But right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The National Toy Hall of Fame has announced its new class. Baseball cards, Cabbage Patch Kids, Fisher-Price Corn Popper, that little thing you push, and Nerf.
Yeah. Nerf?
Nerf made it in.
I think I'm good with the list. Literally, I think a stick is in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
It is.
Who didn't make it?
Slime. It's a staple of Nickelodeon.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Some of those old injuries, they begin to creep up and things begin to start hurting again. I finally got to the point where I'm like, I can't just wake up and know my knee's going to be bothering me and push through this on a daily basis.
Old football injuries can't keep former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter down. So he decided to check out the all-natural regenerative pain treatments at QC Kinetics.
I was fortunate enough to obviously sit down with QC and kind of understand your body still has the ability to heal in it. We just need to give it a little bit of a boost.
Exactly. QC Kinetics concentrates your body's own healing agents in your painful hips, shoulders, knees, or back.
Everyone can say, well, you need to replace this or replace that, but it's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
QC Kinetics treatments take place the same day right in the office. No downtime. Call today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
A house isn't a home without a little wear and tear, spilled milk, or muddy paws. But don't just clean it, quick shine it. Hey, Pat Sullivan here for Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners with some Floor Care 101 tips. First, no matter the surface type, be sure to remove dust and debris. Avoid heavy chemicals or all-purpose liquids as they can damage the sealant layer or leave an oily residue. Now, to best clean and protect your floors at a modest price, don't just clean it, quick shine it. Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners use non-toxic ingredients, making it better for kids, pets, and the environment. With an EPA Safe Choice certification, and Quick Shine has a full line of products to treat any surface, including their floor cleaner, floor finisher, and hardwood floor luster. I use it on my own floors. Made right here in central Indiana for over 60 years by Holloway House, a family-owned company. Quick Shine Finishes and Cleaners is available at retailers everywhere.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
I'm Jack Callahan. Being floated as a possible vice presidential running mate for former President Trump, New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
I'd be honored to serve in a future Trump administration, but we are focused today on making sure that we are showing strong support for President Trump. The energy and momentum is on his side. We had a great rally in Concord last night. You can feel the energy, and he just is coming off of a historic win in Iowa.
The New Hampshire primary is coming up Tuesday. President Biden hoping for immigration law changes from Congress.
Now, the question is for the Speaker and the House Republicans. Are they ready to act as well? They have to choose whether they want to solve a problem or keep weaponizing issues to score political points against the president.
President Biden meeting with mayors at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
My name is Donita, and I cared for my mother for 8.5 years. There were times where I was like, I can't do this alone. Then I found CareForth. They gave me the resources and the confidence to care for Mom at home. They even paid me. I'm so happy I was able to care for Mom, but even more grateful I wasn't alone. When I say they're like family, I mean it.
Caring for a loved one at home? Get support and get paid by visiting careforth.com. That's careforth.com.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. The program begins in summer of 2024. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Muncie. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Muncie. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. I'll tell you what, we're going through the phone lines. There's nothing better than when we have a whole bunch of callers here on The Gun Guy Show, and we certainly have tonight. And David, brother, you've been on hold for damn near an hour, and I applaud your patience, and thanks so much. Thanks for calling the Gun Guy Show.
Yes. When can Governor Abbott start sending buses to blue cities in red states? Thank you.
Okay, hold on. So, wait a minute, David. So, when will Governor Abbott, I want to make sure I understand you. When will Governor Abbott start sending buses, so buses with immigrants, right? Illegal immigrants or people who have crossed the border, when will they start sending them to blue cities and red states? So that would be Indianapolis, right? So that's a Democrat-controlled city in a red state like Indiana. Your question is, when's that going to happen?
Yeah, if it can happen. That seems to be what they want.
Well, I'm missing your point there, brother. I mean, what?
I don't know, though. Yes.
What's that?
I didn't know if it has to be a sanctuary city or I'm not an attorney, but yeah, that's the question. If he can and when he can send, buses.
All right, okay, man. I'm not sure I'm tracking, but listen, I mean, this is a whole different. This is immigration, and we're here to talk about 2A issues. But Governor Abbott, the Texas governor, I think has had a great approach to the immigration issue. First of all, they're trying to enforce the immigration laws themselves by putting barriers at the border and protecting Texas from this absolute invasion of illegal immigration. And listen, I'm not anti-immigration. I mean, one of the things that makes this country great is it's a melting pot, man. It's all about immigration. But follow the law. There's a process to come into this country. So I'm all in favor of immigration. Some of the greatest U.S. citizens, contributors to this society we've ever had are immigrants. So we want to absolutely be welcoming to immigration in this country. We're crazy if we don't, and that's what makes this country so fabulous. Is being a melting pot for all different cultures and religions and cultures, and it's so important. But follow the law. And Abbott has said, for instance, that you come in, all right, Texas is not going to bear the complete burden of this. We're going to bust some of these people off. And he's sending them to blue states. He sent them to California. He sent them to New York and New Jersey. And it's kind of hilarious because those people don't know what to do. They are all in favor saying, oh, yeah, we need to allow all this immigration. right up until they actually start getting immigrants in their cities and their towns. Now they're saying, well, hold on, this is a problem. So, when will Governor Abbott, for instance, send them to a city like Indianapolis, which is in a red state, right? A Republican majority state, but Indianapolis being a Democrat-controlled city, I think that's probably low on the list. I think he's probably making his point, primarily sending them to blue cities and blue states, but we'll see. But that's a little different issue. All right, we got another caller on the phones. Joe has called in. Joe, what you got for us?
Hey, Guy, I love listening to you and appreciate all you do for us.
Sure, brother. Thank you.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. So I enjoy exercising my Second Amendment rights like most of your listeners, I would assume.
Yep.
I got a quick question around the legality of carrying at a homeschool co-op. I've never heard anyone discuss that before.
Well, that's a good question. The law, I'll tell you exactly what the statute says. It says you can't carry on school property, which is defined as a public, private, or parochial school. And generally, that's looked at as if it's a licensed school, licensed by the state to be a school, then you can't carry there. If it's not licensed by the state, then it's probably not going to fall in that category of school property. And to be honest with you, Joe, I'm not fully educated on the issue of homeschool co-ops. But if they're not licensed by the state, I think that probably works out okay. If they are, then that's going to be considered as school property.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, I'll tell you what, that's it for the callers. Man, we had a ton of callers. I love taking calls. That's the origin of the Gun Guy Show. When I was just a guest on other people's shows, but more than 10 years ago, before I ever had my own show, we just had segments called Ask the Gun Guy or Ask the Gun Lawyer, and people would just call. And so I love that. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and on this last segment, I'll talk about some of the bills that, for instance, my buddy Kelly in Avon and I were talking about, 1084 and 1235. These are important bills, and they need to be part of Indiana law. I'll talk about exactly why when we come back. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
When I was a boy, I used to have an affinity for professional wrestling. I was always a fan of the bad guy managers, and I used to tell my dad, I said, someday I will make them love to hate me. And I feel like at 39 years old, as I near my 40th birthday, I have achieved my life's ambition as I have made them love to hate me.
Kendall and Casey, weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for Tactical Firearms Training. Our most popular class is Essentials of Indiana Gun Law. And we've got a couple of those scheduled. Saturday, February 24th at Indy Arms, got a class 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. This is 4.5 to 5 hours of the most important legal information that you need as an Indiana gun owner. This is the justified and lawful use of force in self-defense, how to avoid commonly prosecuted crimes like intimidation with a deadly weapon or pointing a firearm or criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon. I've defended all those cases, and I talk from experience about exactly that in this course, and there's a whole bunch more. Check that out at tactical-firearms.com. I also have another date out in Avon. Parabellum Firearms and Indoor Range is hosting Essentials of Indiana Gun Law on Saturday, March 23rd. We'd love to have you there. Either course is $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. You can sign up right online. Go to tactical-firearms.com. Click on upcoming courses at tactical-firearms.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, staying ahead of the market at every turn, finding ways to do more with less, and taking advantage of every opportunity that comes their way. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle when you switch to Comcast Business, the company with the largest, fastest, reliable network. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call or go online to learn about the $1,000 bonus today.
Give your business a head start in 2024. Get started with internet and security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add one unlimited mobile line. Call or go online to switch today. Ends 2/21/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, it's Rob for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you gotta call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means to you is it'll be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. Plus, it comes with a lifetime warranty. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath. Plus, 36 months of interest-free financing. Yeah, I 100% did not stutter. 36 months of interest-free financing. My friends at the Bath Authority, thebathauthority.com, a better bath awaits.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save up to 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS to save 25%.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIPC.
And welcome back for the last segment of the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. I'll tell you what, thanks so much to our callers, man. That warms my heart when we have that many people call into the Gun Guy Show. It's kind of nice to know that many people are listening. So it's not just my mom, apparently. But no, I really appreciate the callers and the listeners, and that it means a lot to me. But let's talk about this House Bill 1084. And my buddy Kelly, who called in, he and I and several other people, John Weber from NRA, who's a rock star, say what you want about the national leadership of NRA. Our local representatives that we've had right here to serve us in Indiana from NRA have been rock stars. John Weber, before John Weber, we had Dr. Chris Kopacki. These guys are hardworking, smart, good people who really care a lot, who work hard, they show up, they're at the early morning meetings, they're sending the late night emails, they're participating in the off hours conference calls, they're going in, they're talking to the legislators, they're doing their job, man. And our local representatives we've had from NRA, again, hey, look, am I glad that Wayne LaPierre has been kicked out as executive vice president and leader of NRA? Yes. Do I think he, to some degree, corrupted the organization and got rich off of our money? Yes. But that doesn't diminish in any way, shape, or form the local representation we've had from NRA ILA, which is Institute for Legislative Action. The people that are right here on the ground helping us fight for gun rights in Indiana, they've been stellar. They've been solid. They are hardworking, smart, good people. And John Weber, who's our current representative, I put right at the top of that list. He's a good man, and he's done a lot of good for us right here, including helping us get constitutional carry passed in 2022. We also had Chris Lee from National Shooting Sports Foundation. National Shooting Sports Foundation is actually the industry group for the firearms industry. A lot of people think that's NRA. No, NRA is grassroots. That's gun owners. That's me and you. NSSF is the gun industry. They represent gun stores, gun manufacturers, gun ranges. That's the reason I'm a member of NSSF as well. But we've been fighting hard, and we get a lot done. But let's talk about House Bill 1084. These financial credit card codes for debit or credit cards, where they want to tag transactions at gun stores. I believe, and I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I believe this is part of what the Obama administration called Operation Choke Point. And what they call Operation Choke Point was declared policy, declared operation of the Obama administration. It was to attack the firearm industry through the financial industry. That is, to go to banks, go to credit card companies, go to insurance companies, and try to get them to simply deny doing business with the firearm industry. Because what they couldn't get done in Congress, and what they couldn't get done at state legislatures, I should say, they wanted to get done through the financial industry. They could put gun stores out of business. They could put gun manufacturers out of business, potentially, by going to banks and insurance companies and credit card processors. Because if all the credit card processors stopped doing business with gun stores, how many do you think would stay in business? I mean, I'll have any retail business you want today, in today's day and age. Be a restaurant or a clothing store, whatever kind of store you want to talk about, and say, no, sorry, we're cash only. How long are you going to stay in business? About a day and a half, because people expect to be able to use their credit card and their debit card. That's just the way it works. And so I think this new code, and this is the International Organization for Standardization, came out and said, and this is at the insistence of gun control groups. We're talking about Everytown for Gun Safety and Moms Demand Action, which is part of that, and the Brady campaign. These people that want to eradicate your Second Amendment rights, they went to this group and said, you need to tag credit card transactions, debit card transactions that are done at gun stores. Why do you think they want to tag those? A lot of people said, oh, they want to start building a registry of gun owners. Maybe. And I see that concern. But what do I really think it is? I think it's to be able to further Operation Choke Point, which is you first identify those transactions so credit card companies and banks can start denying them. Nope, sorry, we don't want to handle any transactions conducted at gun stores. And as soon as they start denying them, then suddenly you can't use your credit or your debit card at a gun store. What's going to happen to that gun store? How long are they going to stay in business? That's the goal. That's the intent. House Bill 1084, authored by Representative Jake Teschka, co-authored by Ethan Manning and my buddy Craig Haggard, former badass Marine, good friend of mine, that says you simply can't use them in Indiana. We're not going to allow that to go forward in Indiana. This is good law. It needs to be the law in Indiana. And that's why both Kelly and I were down there testifying in favor of it. And we'll talk more about other bills that are pending this session and what you can do to help. Right now, this is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Your next new vehicle is coming from Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, where you get more out of your next service appointment at Andy Moore Ford. With Ford Pickup and Delivery, they'll come to you. Andy Moore Ford will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it to your home or office. It doesn't get much more convenient than that.